Welcome to a world where your wallet has an expiration date, and your financial advisor just became a grief counselor. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that all money now comes with a countdown timer like a cursed smartphone battery. 30 days, and poof, your cash turns into digital dust, leaving behind only the faint smell of crushed dreams and expired capitalism. No more saving for retirement, no more emergency funds, no more hoarding wealth like a financial dragon with commitment issues. Just pure, unadulterated economic chaos with a side of societal revelation and a garnish of existential panic. Picture this: it's day 29 of your money's lifespan, and you're standing in supermarket with $17 that's about to become worthless confetti. Do you buy the fancy toilet paper that promises to change your life, or invest in a lifetime supply of rubber ducks because at least they float when everything else sinks? The existential crisis is real, folks, and it comes with a receipt you can't return. Welcome to the monthly money apocalypse, where capitalism meets musical chairs and everyone's dancing like their bank account depends on it, because it literally does, and the music stops every 30 days, whether you're ready or not. Our story begins with Janet, a 42-year-old accountant who's been saving for her dream vacation to Bali for 3 years. 3 years of brown bag lunches, skipped lattes, and wearing the same winter coat with the suspicious stain that might be either coffee or the remnants of her former optimism. She's got $12,000 in her savings account, carefully accumulated penny by penny like a financial squirrel preparing for the longest winter in history. Then the government announces the new Expiration Economy Act, effective immediately. Because apparently, democracy means surprising your citizens with economic experiments they never voted for. All money expires every 30 days. No exceptions, no grandfathering. No, but I worked really hard for this, and my therapist says I deserve nice things clause. Janet stares at her banking app like it just told her the earth is actually flat. Birds are government surveillance drones, and her mother was right about that haircut making her look tired. Her 3 years of financial discipline just got sentenced to death row, with a 30-day appeal process handled by the same government that can't figure out how to fix potholes. The first thing that happens is mass hysteria at every store within a 50-mile radius. Like Black Friday had a panic attack and invited all its anxious relatives. People are buying everything and nothing simultaneously, creating the world's most chaotic shopping experience since someone invented online reviews. Karen from accounting purchases 47 identical spatulas, because you never know when you might need backup spatulas for the great spatula shortage of 2025. Her logic is bulletproof. If society collapses, at least her pancakes will be perfectly flipped while Rome burns. Meanwhile, her neighbor Bob decides to invest his entire paycheck in premium birdseed, convinced that pigeons are the future of the economy and secretly smarter than most economists. The logic is flawless. Birds don't understand expiration dates, so they're automatically winning at capitalism while humans panic purchase kitchen gadgets they'll use exactly once. Bob's backyard becomes a pigeon stock exchange where feathered investors gather to discuss the latest trends and breadcrumb futures. Janet, being the practical person she is, decides to approach this scientifically because if you're going to navigate economic Armageddon, you better do it with proper documentation. She creates a spreadsheet titled Operation Financial Survival. Month 1, with color-coded categories that would make a rainbow jealous. Her subcategories include essential panic purchases, questionable but justifiable expenses, and things I bought because Sharon from HR said they were life-changing. The spreadsheet becomes more complex than NASA mission planning, but significantly less likely to successfully reach its destination. Her first revelation: restaurants become the new stock market. Except the only dividends are food comas and the occasional heartburn. Why save money when you can convert it into premium dining experiences that don't expire but might give you indigestion that lasts longer than your bank balance? For more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Let's keep watching. Suddenly, everyone's a food critic, debating whether the truffle pasta is worth $40 of soon-to-be extinct currency, or if they should invest in 17 appetizers instead. The philosophical implications of breadstick economics keep Janet awake at night. The Olive Garden becomes busier than the New York Stock Exchange. With people treating unlimited breadsticks like they're investing in carbohydrate futures, the waitstaff develops PTSD from customers who linger for 4 hours, ordering everything on the menu while frantically calculating the depreciation rate of their dining budget. Table for one, and make it a business dinner, Janet announces to the 17-year-old hostess, who's probably wondering why adults are acting like money is lava and breadsticks are the only life rafts. The hostess, whose name tag says Brittany, but whose expression says, "I didn't sign up for this economic philosophy seminar," seats Janet next to a man who's having an emotional breakdown over the wine list. Is the house red worth $23 of dying money? He sobs into his appetizer. What if I regret not getting the premium bottle? What if this is my last chance to experience properly aged disappointment? Week 2 brings the emergence of the Great Barter Revolution. Because apparently medieval times are making a comeback and nobody asked if we were ready. Since money expires, people start trading skills, services, and random household items like it's a Renaissance fair crossed with a therapy session. Janet's neighbor offers 2 mow lawns in exchange for homemade cookies, which seems reasonable until you realize his lawnmower is broken, and his definition of homemade includes opening the package himself. The local barista starts accepting compliments as payment because emotional currency doesn't expire. Unlike my will to live during the morning rush. This creates an inflation problem where everyone becomes overly enthusiastic about average coffee to avoid paying actual money. This lukewarm latte has absolutely changed my entire perspective on existence. Becomes the standard tip for service that would normally warrant a complaint to management. Someone posts on Facebook Marketplace, "Will trade my expertise in remembering where I put my car keys for your knowledge of why printers never work when you need them to." The post receives 43 responses, including someone offering to trade their ability. 2 fold-fitted sheets for lessons in opening pickle jars without looking like you're having a personal crisis. The economy becomes a giant game of what random skill can I monetize before my money turns into digital. Ash and I'm forced to explain to my landlord why rent is now paid in interpretive dance performances. Janet discovers she can trade her tax preparation skills for yoga lessons, which she can then trade for guitar lessons, which apparently convert into homemade jam at a 2-to-1 ratio if the jam maker is having relationship problems. It's like cryptocurrency, but with more human interaction, significantly less environmental destruction, and way more awkward small talk about people's personal lives. The complexity of the barter system requires Janet to create another spreadsheet. Who owes me what in exchange for things I'm not sure I actually want? The government, realizing they've accidentally created the world's most chaotic social experiment, holds daily press conferences that sound like comedy shows written by people who've never experienced humor. Citizens are reminded that money expiring is not a personal attack on your financial planning skills, announces the Treasury Secretary, who clearly hasn't slept in weeks and whose iTwitch has developed its own Twitter following. We're monitoring the situation where a man in Delaware tried to pay his mortgage with interpretive dance performances that, while artistically compelling, do not meet current banking regulations. While creative, this is not yet recognized as legal tender, though we're open to reviewing his portfolio if he includes references. The press corps, desperate for content that makes sense, starts asking increasingly ridiculous questions, like, what's the government's position on emotional support chickens as collateral for small business loans? The Treasury Secretary's responses become more unhinged with each passing day. Look, if chickens want to participate in the economy, they need to file the appropriate paperwork like everyone else. The news reports become increasingly surreal as journalists struggle to explain why the economy is somehow both collapsing and thriving like a patient with multiple personality disorder. In today's financial news, the stock market is up, the dollar is down, and a grandmother in Ohio has successfully created a currency based entirely on her ability to remember where she put things. Her memory-based economy has attracted investors from 3 neighboring states who are tired of losing their keys and seeking professional guidance. More on this developing story after we figure out what story we're actually reporting on and whether our own reporter has been trading his journalism degree for grocery store coupons. Janet's monthly budget meeting with herself becomes a philosophical journey through the meaning of value, desire, and why she owns 14 different types of hand lotion. Does she really need that expensive face cream? Or is she just afraid of aging in a world where money ages faster than she does? And her skincare routine has become more complex than international diplomacy. Is buying organic vegetables a health investment or just expensive anxiety management with a side of super feeling, smugness that allows her to judge other people's grocery carts? The existential questions multiply faster than her expenses, creating an internal philosophical crisis that would make Socrates proud and her therapist wealthy. She starts hosting spending therapy sessions with her friends, where they collectively decide whether buying a $30 candle is self-care or financial self-sabotage disguised as aromatherapy. It smells like vanilla and success, argues Sarah, holding the candle like it contains the secrets of the universe and possibly the cure for her dating life. It smells like $30 that could have bought actual vanilla, a lighter, and a sense of accomplishment from making your own candles while watching YouTube tutorials. Counters Janet's practical inner accountant, who never gets invited to parties. The debate lasts 47 minutes and covers topics including childhood trauma, society's obsession with artificial scents, and whether vanilla is actually a personality trait. They end up buying 3 candles because compromise is the foundation of democracy, and none of them want to be the person who ruins the group dynamic over candle economics. By week 3, society has developed entirely new social norms around money and spending that would confuse anthropologists for centuries. First dates become elaborate financial counseling sessions where couples discuss their spending compatibility and whether their money philosophies align better than their actual personalities. I'm looking for someone who understands that buying 17 types of pasta sauce is not hoarding. It's preparing for flavor, diversity, and the inevitable zombie apocalypse, reads one dating profile. Must be willing to jointly invest in experiences over material possessions, except for kitchen gadgets, which are obviously essential for human survival, and my identity as someone who theoretically cooks. Speed dating events become speed budgeting sessions, where people have 3 minutes to explain their financial decision-making process, and whether they're the type of person who buys generic cereal or considers brand loyalty a moral imperative. Children start learning economics through the lens of everything is temporary, including your allowance. So maybe spend it on something that makes you happy, instead of saving it for a future that may or may not exist, and probably won't include the toys you think you want right now. This accidentally creates the most financially wise generation in history, who understand that money is a tool, not a trophy, and that adults are making everything way more complicated than it needs to be. 80-year-olds start giving financial advice to their parents. Mom, why are you crying over expired money when you could just buy ice cream and be happy right now? The logic is so pure, it makes adults question their entire relationship with financial planning, and whether children should be running the economy instead of whatever's happening currently. Janet attends a community meeting where neighbors discuss forming a neighborhood resource collective, which sounds like socialism but with better snacks and more polite disagreements. They're pooling money to buy things collectively that everyone can share, like that really expensive stand mixer that makes perfect bread, but costs more than most people's car payments and gets used approximately twice per year. We're not communists, clarifies Margaret from house number 42. Adjusting her pearls defensively, we're just economically creative individuals who recognize that 18 people don't need 18 stand mixers gathering dust in 18 different kitchen cabinets. The logic is so reasonable, it's almost suspicious, like when politicians agree on something and everyone wonders what they're secretly planning. The meeting devolves into a heated debate about sharing protocols. What if someone uses a stand mixer and doesn't clean it properly? What if they make banana bread and the machine smells like bananas forever? What if they're the kind of person who thinks raisins belong in everything? These questions keep the community up at night, pondering the philosophical implications of communal kitchen appliances. Local businesses adapt by offering money, expiration, insurance, which is basically layaway programs dressed up with fancy terminology to make procrastination sound like financial planning. The furniture store starts advertising buy now, receive in 31 days, and avoid the great money vanishing act of next month, as if furniture shopping has become a magic trick performed by increasingly desperate sales associates. Car dealerships offer expiration emergency financing, where you can purchase vehicles using money that's scheduled to die tomorrow, creating a strange relationship between car buyers and their doomed currency. It's capitalism meets hospice care for money, with sales representatives who've developed grief counseling skills to help customers through the emotional process of spending dying dollars. Don't think of it as your money expiring. Who's a car salesman? Think of it as your money transforming into a reliable vehicle that will outlive its purchase price by decades, assuming you maintain it properly and don't drive it like you're auditioning for an action movie. The black market emerges, but it's the most polite illegal activity in history. Like a criminal enterprise run by people who apologize for breaking the law and bring homemade cookies to illegal transactions. People whisper about money laundering services that help you convert expiring bills into non-expiring goods, except the whispering happens at normal volume, because nobody's really sure if this counts as actual crime. For more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Let's keep watching. PST, want to buy some premium money that expires next week instead of tomorrow, becomes the new want to buy some drugs. Except everyone involved brings casseroles and asks about each other's families. The underground economy develops its own etiquette. Illegal transactions must include small talk, weather commentary, and at least one compliment about the other person's appearance or recent life choices. Drug dealers start offering financial planning services. I'll give you this questionably legal substance. But first, let's talk about your long-term financial goals and whether this purchase aligns with your values. Janet realizes that month-end is approaching faster than her ability to spend money responsibly, and she still has $300 that's about to become worthless confetti. She's bought experiences, invested in friendships, paid for random acts of kindness, and somehow feels wealthier than when she started this monthly financial apocalypse. The money that's about to expire has forced her to actually live instead of just preparing to live someday when all her financial ducks are in a row and she's finally worthy of happiness. She throws an expiration EV party where everyone brings their soon-to-be worthless money and they collectively decide how to spend it. Like a group therapy session with alcohol and questionable they hire a mariachi band for Janet's cat, Mr. Whiskers, who seems confused but appreciative of the musical attention and develops what appears to be a preference for traditional Mexican folk music. They purchase a year's supply of bubble wrap for therapeutic popping purposes, which becomes surprisingly popular and leads to the formation of a neighborhood stress relief club. They commission a local artist to paint a mural celebrating the absurdity of temporary currency, featuring dancing money with expiration dates and people laughing instead of crying about financial instability. The mural becomes a local landmark and tourist attraction, with people traveling from other cities to see. The wall where sanity went to die, but everyone learned to live. The next morning, Janet's bank account shows $0, but her life shows a richness that can't be quantified by any banking app or measured by any financial advisor who's still trying to figure out what just happened to their entire profession. Month 2 begins, and she receives her fresh batch of 30-day money like a monthly subscription to economic chaos that she's somehow learned to enjoy. But now she approaches it like a monthly creative challenge rather than a financial burden. Like a game show where the prize is learning to live intentionally. How can she use this temporary tool to create lasting joy, meaningful connections, and positive impact while avoiding the temptation to panic by kitchen gadgets she'll never use? The government, overwhelmed by the unexpected success of their accidentally brilliant policy, holds a final press conference that sounds like they're trying to take credit for something they never understood. We're pleased to announce that the Expiration Economy Act has resulted in the highest levels of community engagement, local business support, and general life satisfaction in recorded history, announces a spokesperson whose job description never mentioned managing economic chaos. Also, hoarding has decreased by 97%. Anxiety about money has dropped significantly. And people are talking to their neighbors again instead of just complaining about them on social media. We're not entirely sure how this happened, but we're going to pretend it was intentional and take full credit while hoping nobody asks for detailed explanations. Additionally, the divorce rate has dropped because couples are too busy figuring out how to spend money together to fight about not having enough of it. Janet watches the news while eating breakfast at her favorite local cafe, which she now visits regularly instead of hoarding money for someday when she deserves good coffee. She's surrounded by neighbors who've become friends through shared financial panic, local business owners who know her by name and her spending patterns, and a community that's learned to value connection over accumulation. The barista, who she now knows is named Marcus and dreams of opening his own coffee roasting business, serves her coffee with the enthusiasm of someone whose compliment-based payment system has boosted his self-esteem to unprecedented levels. Your hair looks amazing today, and this latte represents my hopes and dreams for caffeinated excellence, he announces, because the new economy has made everyone slightly more dramatic but significantly more honest. The money in her wallet has 29 days to live, and she's planning to make every single one of those days count without creating a detailed spreadsheet about it. Because when money expires, life begins, and planning becomes less important than actually living. And sometimes the best financial planning is learning to plan for living instead of just surviving. Until some theoretical future where everything will supposedly make sense. The moral of our story isn't that money should expire. That would be actual chaos and probably result in the collapse of civilization as we know it. The moral is that maybe our relationship with money could use some expiration date awareness and significantly less emotional baggage. What if we treated our resources like they were temporary tools meant to create lasting value rather than permanent trophies, meant to be admired by people we're trying to impress? What if we spent more energy on experiences and relationships and less energy on accumulating stuff that impresses people we don't even like and who probably aren't paying attention anyway? What if the fear of financial insecurity was replaced with the excitement of financial creativity and the possibility that money might actually be less important than we've been told our entire lives? Janet's story reminds us that sometimes the best way to understand the value of something is to imagine what would happen if it had disappeared tomorrow and we had to figure out what actually mattered. And sometimes the most radical act isn't saving money, it's spending it intentionally, purposefully, and joyfully on things that make life better for yourself and everyone around you. So the next time you're holding on to money for someday, remember Janet and her 30-day countdown, her mariachi-loving cat, and her newfound appreciation for compliment-based coffee economics. Ask yourself, if this money expired tomorrow, how would I use it today? And would I spend it on things that actually matter, or just things I think I'm supposed to want? The answer might surprise you, enrich you, and connect you to the life you're actually living instead of the one you're planning to live. Eventually, when all your financial anxieties finally resolve themselves, because eventually is a terrible savings account that never pays dividends, and now is the only currency that never loses its value or requires complicated spreadsheets to understand. For more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Let us know your opinion here in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.